Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Bryant and I'm a speech language pathologist here at Emerge Pediatric Therapy. I'm just here today to talk with you a little bit about morphological awareness, what that is, and how you can use it as a tool to help your child learn the meaning of larger words that they're encountering while they're reading. So this is targeted for children who are older and who are encountering large words. And as you're reading together, you are or having to ask them to guess the definition of a new word when you come across one in a book together. Or maybe they're answering comprehension questions from their class about a book that they've read or a passage they've read, and that worksheet asks them to define a word in the text using multiple choice. And your child is having trouble identifying what the word meaning is. You may get a blank look, you may see that they are really struggling and attempting to piece together something, clutch at some unit of meaning, but they just can't quite figure out what that word means. So this is a strategy that is just one part that speech pathologists use to help children learn to decipher what a word could mean. Morphological instruction is basically teaching a student a part of the word. So it's to look inside of the word that you're seeing rather than the sentence around it, and really thinking about what the parts of the words could mean. So if we teach a learner that the word part or prefix un means not, then this opens up a whole list of new words that they can then understand, because they know un means not. And if they encounter unkind, they can then think, what does un mean? Not. Now they know unkind means not kind. Unfriendly. They know un means not friendly. Unacceptable, not acceptable. One that we love at Emerge, unexpected, not expected. So you could teach each of those words one by one, or you could teach the prefix un and give them the key to all of those words at once. So that's why it's such a powerful tool. This is particularly empowering for children as well, you'll find, because they get to figure it out themselves. So they get to figure out the meanings of things themselves, and that makes them feel independent and like they've achieved something without having to have direct instruction from you on every single word in that vocab list. And that is just a huge deal to a lot of children who are having a difficult time learning vocabulary. To be able to know what a vocabulary word means on their own is a big deal. So just a quick review for you. A prefix is a part of a word or group of letters that can go at the beginning of a word to change the meaning, like non and non-smoking, or dis and dislike. A suffix is a part of a word that can go at the end of the word to change its meaning, like us and poisonous, and ish and selfish. So those are very similar, they just go in different places. A root is a part of the word that holds the core meaning of the word, but it can't stand alone. So like agri in agriculture. Agri isn't a word all by itself, but it is an important root that could let you know a lot about what other words might mean just because it has those chunks of letters in it. They'll know it's related to farming or something such as that. Or ambule in ambulance. Ambu is in a lot of other words. So to work on this at home, what I would recommend is contacting your child's speech language pathologist or their teacher and ask about a list of prefixes, suffixes, or roots that would be helpful for your child to learn. Common Core has standards for second, third, sixth grade, all dealing with prefixes, suffixes, and roots. But of course, they need to be age appropriate. So make sure that you're targeting some age appropriate ones with your kid. But these are going to give you clues to what a word might mean if you are a kid. While you're reading, you're going to want to practice looking for taught word parts. So if you have recently taught your child ED as meaning something that already happened, so that's going to give us a clue to what words mean. What you can do is, as you're reading, pull out words that you find with ED in it. So happened, patterned, selected, jumped. Any word that has ED at the end, you're going to want to pull out, and then they can look at all those words together and see that what they had in common. Those things were things that have already happened. And so by having your child interact by pulling out and making a list of words that have that commonality is really going to help them actively think about a concept you have taught them, about a word part. You could play something really fun like Would You Rather, using already taught morphemes or word parts to help your child practice. So would you rather that's a word part, redo your homework or undo your homework? So re and un are the word parts you would have already taught them, and they can use that to figure out what those words might mean, and then they can make their choice, which should be pretty motivating because a kid's going to have an opinion on some homework. Would you rather have a cupful or a mouthful of ice cream? Full would be the suffix you would be working on there, and that could be something really motivating for a kid as well. I know it would be motivating for me. And would you rather feel sadness or shyness? Just another opinion. Kids love giving their opinion, and that's a good way to incorporate something that you've already taught. Okay, so you can also use something like a popsicle stick, maybe a sticker, something like that, to make a word transformer. So you can write a prefix or a suffix on your popsicle stick or at like the very top, or you can write it on a round sticker, and you can add them to vocabulary words to see how it might change the word. So that gives you interaction with the definition and also playful changing of words. The word that it makes does not have to be real. You guys can talk about, this is a weird word. It's not real because we just transformed it into this word. Now what would it mean if that was a real word? And so being playful like that around word construction can be really motivating, but also just really effective in showing a child just how much power those small little letters have. And then also you could do something related to that. Make a silly word dictionary where you and your child, you can take word parts and then add them to words that you guys are practicing and create new and fun words. So unjuggle could mean the opposite of juggling, dropping everything on the floor. Or re-friend could be making friends with someone again after you had an argument or haven't seen them in a while. Anything really fun and silly will be motivating for your child and can help them sort of unlock what is important about those word parts and groups of letters. So that way they know when they come across a word that they see and they don't know what it is, they know that the first step to figuring out what it means is to look at the pieces and the groups of letters that are in that word that could possibly give them a hint as to what it means. Please see our blog post if you would like any written activities or summaries of this. I know it's been a while probably since you've had some instruction on prefixes, suffixes, and roots. And also feel free to reach out to us. We have a lot of other strategies for learning vocabulary and how to use what's there in the world and what's around it to help a child figure out its meaning. Studies show that if a child has a language disorder, usually a exposure to a word needs to be about 3 times as many. So while for them to learn it. So while an exposure to a word might take 15 times for a child without a language disorder for them to learn it, it might take up to 45 exposures for a child with a language disorder to learn that word. So if you think about how many times that would be to learn unkind, unfriendly, unacceptable, unexpected, all of those words, you can see just how many times it's going to reduce the number they need to hear a word for them to be able to learn it. Thank you so much for joining us for this Tuesday talk, and I appreciate you guys joining me.